kam kënaqësinë me qenë sot këtu së bashku me mikun tim Osvald Bjelland, është edhe editori I librit Hope for Life on Our Planet, Inspiration for 7 Generations, ku edhe Osvald ka ardhur si mysafir për konferencën Smart City apo Livable Cities që kemi nesër dhe mas nesër. Pra nesër kemi një panel të dedikuar specifikisht për librin të cilin e ka editu zoti Bjelland, që kanë kontribuar rreth 64 autor, 64 kontribues, njëri prej cilëve jam edhe unë, si kryetari I qytetit. Prandaj kam kënaqësinë sot të bëjmë një bashkëbisedim me zotin Bjelland këtu së bashku me juve. Dear Osvald, Mr. Bjelland, I'm delighted to have you here in our capital city, visiting us for the second time, but bringing this fabulous book, your great contribution to the future. And I mentioned that the name of the book, Hope for Life on Our Planet, Inspiration for 7 Generations. It's a compilation of 64 authors, and I am lucky, honored, and delighted to be one of them. So I thank you for inviting me to contribute to this fantastic book, which has many authors, great people that today, most of them are alive. Unfortunately, some of them have passed on, have moved on. But I want you to talk about the reason why you're here, and the ideas behind your book, fantastic book, Hope, and ideas for the future. Hope for the world, inspiring for next 7 generations, as you have fantastically inspired me as well. So I thank you, and I'm very honored and delighted to have you here as my guest, as our guest in Prishtinë.
Thank you very, very much, Mayor Rama. It's a true pleasure. I truly look forward to be back in Prishtinë and this part of the world, which I've been introduced to in the last few years only. And you see, there are many personal experiences that shape our thinking and how we look at life. And 5 years ago, I celebrated my 60 turns around the sun. And I just realized that the people I wanted to bring together could not meet because of COVID. So what we experienced then was that we as a human family can be quite vulnerable, but also in hindsight, you see how mighty we are when we decide to pull together. So I thought, okay, what can I do now? So I sent an email to the people who have shaped my life, basically, including my mother and my uncles and family members and others. And I just asked one question. Tell me about your hope for the future. And this was in the midst of COVID. And the response was enormous. And I got so much beautiful material. And then, of course, I started to think about and read all of this. And I started to look at the world. And I realized that the world needs hope and the world needs healing. And for example, one of the reasons maybe why I enjoy coming here, I just tell you a very quick story about my late father-in-law. So he was a very active resistance man in Norway, and on his 80th birthday, we decided he wanted to go back to a place called Voss in Norway, where all the resistance people met in 1939. And then we came to a small city called Odda, and he said, "Stop, please stop here." And he asked me and my son to walk up some small streets. And then he stopped. He was 80 years old, leaning on his walking stick. And then he looked at me and said, "This is where it happened."
Wow.
And I said, "What happened here?" well, this is where they dropped the bombs on us. And I lost my five comrades. And I lost my hearing. And then my son was there, he was only 8, and it was this very special moment. And you see, when I come here to Kosovo, I realized all the experiences that you guys have had. And I realized that we have a lot in common. And what we have seen in Norway in the last 8 years, and what you see here in the last 25 years, is that if it hadn't been for this hope for the future, we couldn't have achieved what we have achieved in either of these, in the European continent. And of course, I'm extremely also excited when I see your European orientation, that we are like one European family, and that we are building more now than ever before. I believe that hope is just like water. You just can't live without it. Absolutely. I think you can live for 5 days without water, and maybe a few more days without hope, but not forever. So it's really strategic, it's important. So that's what I then had time in the last couple of years to do this book. And I'm exceptionally proud of the 64 contributions. Each essay will teach you something. So I really hope that people will pick up the book and read one essay at a time and enjoy this incredible, deep contribution from all these beautiful contributors. So that's the motivation. You see, hope is very different from optimism. You can be optimistic one day and miserable another day, etc. Hope is actually, for example, my great-grandfather in 1878, at the age of 15, with his 3 older brothers, were walking through the mountains. They were crossing the fjords. They got on a ship to America, and they basically showed up there. And they were looking for a better life. So hope actually changed their life, and that's what hope can do.
Yes, yes. Hope.
That would be fantastic.
But we also have this conference that is starting tomorrow, that we will start actually with so Smart City Prishtinë 2025 Smart City Conference, so livable cities, where Osvald, my dear friend Osvald, and I will be talking about more about the idea of the book, or behind the publication of this book. So you're all welcome to join us at the conference as well. But what a great publication of some amazing people.
So I think so. This idea actually came from my conversation with Ajay Banga, the president of the World Bank, and I asked him, so what is the most important thing for us to think differently about? And he said, well, many of the really existential problems can't be solved in the next 90 to 120 days. If you look at biodiversity, if you look at climate change, if you look, etc. So you need a longer time perspective. And I was just studying different wisdom traditions, etc., and I came up with 7 generations. It is not literal. You see, like a very great friend of mine, a Dutch engineer, he came to me and said, Oswald, why don't you say 4.5 generations? He's a wonderful man, but it doesn't matter. You just need to have a longer time horizon. And then it also is it's a huge relief for you as a person. And I say to people now, when I'm working on my different things, is this okay that we do it in the next week? I said, that's fine. I'm in no rush. I'm working for the next 7 generations. Yeah. So it's just like interesting psychologically. Yes. So there are some benefits with this.
Konferenca Livable Cities apo Smart City 2025, Prishtina 2025, është diskuton faktikisht edhe për mënyrën se si ne, vizioni ynë për transformimin e kryeqytetit, punët të cilat i kemi bërë deri më tani në aspektin transformues për kryeqytet. E kemi nesër edhe tregojmë këtë smart city infrastrukturën e cila tashmë është e instaluar në kryeqytet dhe mënyra se si kjo ka më shfrytzu për me planifiku për të ardhmen e kryeqytetit. Të njëjtën kohë, intervenimet të cilat ne jemi duke I bërë se vizioni kryeqytetit, pra platformat, ndërkalimet, gjelbrimet, digitalizimin, gjitha këto janë pjesë e kësaj idees që ndërlidhet ngushtë edhe me këtë librin Hope apo inspirimet për 7 gjeneratat e ardhshme. Pra, gjitha intervenimet në kryeqytet ne që jemi duke I bërë për gjeneratat e ardhshme, të cilat kanë tash synim për me transformu kryeqytetin në një qytet të shëndetshëm, në një qytet inkluziv për të gjithë, në një qytet I cili është faktikisht I fokusuar në hapësinat publike për me bërë bashkë qytetarët, sepse jemi social animals, I thojnë anglisht, jemi qenje sociale që kemi dëshirë me qenë së bashku me një tjetrin, për këtë arsye dhe krijojmë hapësira të sigurta për secilin gjenerat. Edhe të njëjtën kohë kemi mysafir nga vende të ndryshme të botës që kanë ardhur me prezantu projektet e tyre transformuese në për qytete tjera që ndërlidhen me Prishtinën, pra me vizionin tonë për transformim të Prishtinës.
Well, it is already a fabulous city. You have achieved a lot of progress. And I see the ideas going forward on sustainable energy, urban living, a lot of areas that you try to advance. I think the key to the future of cities is to create an environment where people thrive, and where people learn, where people support each other, where people feel a sense of belonging and pride, and they are proud of the city because they generate new ideas. It becomes a community that is just a place where you feel like home.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Osvald, maybe I can shake your hand.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for your contribution to the world, to our planet, with a beautiful book, and for being our friend,
Yes.
friend of Prishtina, friend of Kosovo, my personal friend.
Yes.
And just know that this is your home too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for spending time with us and for the opportunity to be with you.
And I welcome you tomorrow. I look forward to our panel.
It will
where
be
we
good.
discuss in more detail about the book
Absolutely.
and hope for an inspiration for next 7 generations.